I want to start first with what you think the issues with the current social networks are. So we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook. These are obviously massive, massive multi-billion-dollar companies. We're literally using some of them to communicate on a daily basis. What do you think the big challenges with them are? Like, where are their missteps?
Yeah, well, this is the funny thing, Pomp, is that if you look at social media today, it's actually more centralized than the financial system was before Bitcoin. I mean, like literally think about it, right? You have 5 companies that virtually control everything we see and do online. And we're over here trying to decide which billionaire we want to censor us. It's who's going to own Twitter? Zuckerberg owns Facebook already. But Pomp, you guys know the real answer, which is that we want nobody in charge, right? We want to own our information like we own our Bitcoin. And that's something that people really aren't talking about. Like it's funny because the solution to centralization in the financial system wasn't to put Warren Buffett in charge of money, right? It was to use technology, namely Bitcoin, to completely overhaul it and decentralize it. And so, for what we think is basically the same overhaul is needed in social. And we think that blockchain is the answer there too. And the reason it hasn't happened yet, we think, is because we basically still need to scale blockchain tech to be able to handle storing content, not just moving money around. So those are very different problems, right? So just for example, it costs $80 to store a 200-character post on Ethereum. It costs 25 cents to $1 on Solana, Avalanche, Polygon. That's not low enough to compete at scale with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But if we could, then we could really change things. We could actually make it so that you can own your content like you own your Bitcoin. Yeah.
So when you think about these problems, how much of it is censorship versus there's other issues that are playing out? Like the censorship thing is very obvious. I think people understand that, and control is kind of interfaced with that. Are there other things, or is it just let's get rid of the censorship?
Well, that's the interesting thing, Pomp, is when you decentralize something, you actually unlock the ingenuity of everybody all over the world rather than a small group of people running a top-down or centralized organization. So just to give you an example, right? When you got Ethereum going and you let anybody build on top of that open financial platform, you got more innovation in DeFi in 2 years than probably the last 50 years in finance, right? And so that's really what putting content on an open platform on a blockchain does, is now instead of having one company or 5 companies really that are in charge of building the feeds, you can actually have anyone in the world spin up a social app and their own social feed with extremely low barrier to entry because they have access to all of that content. They can build a feed without having to go and acquire 1 billion users in order to be competitive. So essentially it lowers the barrier to entry to creating a social app, which not only gives you a lot more choice when it comes to moderation, like who do you want to moderate, but it also leads to better apps, better experiences, better everything. And so you're absolutely right. It's a problem of unlocking the entire world's potential and moving from centrally planned development of social apps to decentralized development, which I think can be a lot more efficient.
Hey, you, did you like this video? Great. We make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and see you next time.